Hi everyone, it's Valerie and I have a project to share with you today. This is something that I've been working on throughout the winter, something to keep me busy. It is a fabric book and it was supposed to be a boho fabric book, but it wound up being more of a color theme fabric book. I think because what happened was I separated all of my fabrics into separate piles, into separate bins, and then I just wound up just doing like one color per page. So I just had to go with it. So this is the cover, and I'll just open it up here with these beautiful, gorgeous red ribbons. I'll open it up so you can have a better look at what the cover is made out of. So you can see it's a big long like table runner that's pointed at one end, and it has a tassel. It has this tassel here that was on the point of it. And this part of it has some white underneath, and then this has red underneath. I'll show you the back a bit detailed later. Let's go from the front. So it's closed by this flap coming up and just tying here. And I've left room. It's quite large, right? So it's probably about 9 inches that way and maybe 10 inches that way. I'll have the proper measurements up on my Etsy store. Let's have a look at it. On the spine are 3 of my homemade flowers, one on the front, and it's made out of a lot of upcycled materials. There's some new laces and some new fabrics, and then other things are upcycled. This is kind of a velvety material here, and then it's got this gold trim around it. Some beautiful embroidery here, and then I cut out one of these pieces and used it to make this flower here. It's a beautiful red cabochon, but it's just fake. It feels like plastic or lucite or something. Okay, let's have a look at the first page. So this is the first page. Okay, so this is the first page. Obviously it's whites and creams and beiges. And there are pockets, and this is wedding satin in the center. It has this trim here, some laces here. One of my flowers, and this piece of bling I've had in my stash for a long time, so long I've forgotten where I got it from. I think someone gave it to me a long time ago to use in my crafts, and it finally got put on here. So this is a very special piece to me. And some of these bits of bling that's on here are probably vintage rhinestones off of some old jewelry. It's a possibility. I'm not 100% sure. And then the rest is just laces. And these are some of my vintage and antique buttons. This is an antique. It feels like ceramic, but I'm not sure what material it's made out of. And this is vintage, and then this one is possibly vintage, possibly not. I'm not 100% sure on that one. So this is the white page. There's also some flat back pearls here. There's some wedding dress applique. This is just a beautiful piece that I cut out of a piece of fabric. This is probably vintage, and this is probably vintage as well. Like some of these old doilies and whatnot, they're made with such fine soft materials, and they just have that, you know, that it's old, it's vintage. Okay, so then we'll go to the next page, and this is the gold page. This is a little bit of it didn't start out as a flower, but it ended up as a flower on this page. some ribbon. Just anything I had that was gold. Gold trim, gold laces, gold fabrics with golds in it. Oops. Wound up on this page. This is a dangle. It came from, it was probably a Christmas tree ornament. Some sequins, some other fabric with some gold sparklies in it. Some trim with some gold in it. This was off of a tassel, very large tassel. And then there's some lace with gold in here. And then on this page, just different pieces of fabric and things that have gold, goldish sort of colors on this gold background fabric. It's not really gold, it's more, well, it's got some, oh, I don't know if it's pink or it's just a golden pink. I don't know what you would call it. Some applique from a curtain, or some embroidery off of a curtain with a little gold bling, and one of my buttons. And then there's a pocket here. So it's a fabric book with storage pockets. And then this page is the gray page. I didn't have a whole lot of gray, so I kind of combined other things that had sort of like a blue-gray here, and this green sari fabric has bits of gray in it. These are also sari fabrics. And then this is off of a garment. It has kind of a bit of a gray background, and it has these really fine sequins, silver sequins on it. And then this is just sort of some natural edging from it after I had cut it out. And then some of my flowers done out of gray fabric, gray satins, and lining material. You can see the edging of the lining. I utilized everything, and bits of bling. And lots of bling on this page, silver bling, some flat back pearls, an old button. I think it's an old button, might be plastic. This button is definitely antique. It's probably Bakelite. These two buttons here are vintage for sure, and this is a newer piece of, I don't know if it's real shell or look-alike shell, but this is a newer piece. This is a piece of bling that I made with the ring and the seed beads and some shiny beads, and then a button, a moonstone type of button that I put in there, or moon glow. What are they called? Moon glow. And then here's a flower with some blue and gray fabric and a piece of bling. And then this is the blue page, and it's kind of a mishmash, almost boho, but in blue. And this was off of a sari, and when I was going through the fabric bins at the thrift store, I found only this. It wasn't attached to anything. It was only the pocket piece off of a sari, and it's got beads and all kinds of shimmery embroidery on here. It's really pretty, so I just left it as a pocket on this page. And then this was off of some oriental fabric, and I cut out the dragon, fussy cut out the dragon. Well, I didn't fussy cut him out. I cut out the dragon, put some blue rickrack around him. And then these are other pieces of sari. That's from that oriental fabric. A little bit of ribboning with some bling, and then this is some fun fur stuff, and there's an earring which I fastened in with a little bit of glue. This is cut out of a shirt. It was really pretty designs in the shirt. This is from a scarf, and I found some turquoise bling which I put there. This was cut out of, I might have dyed this blue, or I might have found it like that. I'm not sure. I started this book just before winter, and I've only just finished it maybe a few weeks ago. So I'm just getting around to finish filming it now. And then this is off of some fabrics, some kind of like sari-like fabric, but the newer kind. It looks like it's actually just printed on the fabric there. And what else? Some of my vintage buttons here, and some bits of fibers. It had bits of blue in it, and turquoise, and a little flower made out of some of this scarf material here, and some more of that blue of this. So I think this was a piece of fabric or dyed lace, I'm not sure which. Okay, and you can see where this was put on. The backing for this page was a placemat, and it had this wonderful bluish shades of blue on here, which inspired this page and all the colors on this page. Okay, I think I showed you this pocket, I'm not sure. And then this pocket has another placemat, the purple placemat, which inspired the purple page. So there's the purple page. I just love this page, the way it turned out. I love purple. So on this page, I kind of covered up some of these other colors and just mostly let the purple show through. This is purple fabrics, and then this was from another scarf that had these dangles, pinks and purple dangles on it. And then this is from a piece of fabric, and it had these beautiful lavender embroidery done on it. So I put some bling in the center of that. And then this is that eyelash wool, which I lightly crocheted in a ring and then put it around to kind of frame this beautiful piece of embroidery. This is some ribbon. This is more purple ribbon. I thought there's a little bit of purple ribbon here, and this bling has moved. I'm going to have to reattach this. I'll have to get that done after. Just put it here to remind me. I'm going to take it right off, otherwise I'll forget to do it. I usually take the glue gun and attach these in, because otherwise they just pop off. Purple butterfly, a little bit of a purple flower here. Some of this roping that I had that had some nice colors in that went well with this page. A little bit of this fuchsia color here. And then this was a scarf that I took apart. It was all knitted or crocheted somehow. And I took it all apart, and it was variegated, these different colors. And I didn't notice it until after I had glued this on. I knotted the top piece, and I wrapped it around this beautiful beaded, it was on lavender satin, and it's all kind of lavender beads. It's all beaded really beautifully. And I glued that on, and then I started gluing this around and didn't realize that it all of a sudden changed colors, and then it changed to purple here. So I spread out parts of the wool. If you just scrunch it together, it just looks like plain wool that you would knit, right? But if you spread it out, it's got all this beautiful netted effect to it. And so I kind of spread out pieces and made it into a bow. And you wouldn't tell that it was, you know, you'd think that I meant to do it this way, but it was just a happy accident. So that's kind of cool. And then this is from some lavender fabric that I cut out, and then I sewed on, hand stitched on the sequins and the beads around here. This was some purple from another piece of fabric, and again I hand stitched on the sequins and the beads. And then I added bits of bling here and there, and some more of my vintage buttons. Lots of vintage buttons on this page, and some lace around the edge. And this lace I ran some lavender ribbon through and gathered it up, put it along here. So that's that page, and then there's no pocket between this one. That turns out over to this green page. I'll take this out. And this is one of my favorite pages. I don't know why. I think it's just, I'm really enjoying working with green more and more. This was from a scarf, beautiful scarf. It had these green tassels, green threads on the end of it. And then this is some beautiful organza that goes red one way and then green the other way. And some beautiful lace trim, some bling. This is iridescent bling, but it kind of had a green glow to it, so I put it on here and there throughout. And then there's some green hearts here. This is one of my handmade flowers that I put in here, had bits of green on it. This is probably, I think this is, I've lightly attached some of the flowers so that you could take them off and use them if you want to in some projects, but this is one of my favorite flowers that I've ever done. And I think it's because it has this delicate shimmery fabric that I put in here, and just the turquoise feathers, and just something about the green, and it just went so well on this page. And then this one was a green satin shirt with a pocket, and actually works as a pocket. And this is from another type of scarf that I took it all apart and had this kind of wool in it, so I glued that on there. This is off of a piece of sari fabric, and this is a very textured fuzzy material. And then this is another velvety type of fabric that's green, and some very, very old buttons on here. This one especially is very, very old. It's probably lucite, or it wouldn't be lucite, maybe acrylic, I'm not sure. And then here we have another pocket, and this pocket is made from, I believe it was a placemat, but it had these little like old gold style beading along the edges of it. And I used it for, I was going to use it for the backing for this brown page. So this is the brown page, and I also really love this page. I don't know why. I think it's because of the contrast between the light and the dark, just makes it pop. And this is some crocheting. It was a big doily, and it had white, the light colors, and then it had brown also along in the doily. This was from, I believe this was a piece of fabric that had this strip through it here, and I like this colors. It had some brown along here, so I used it. Some gold bling. This is some beautiful fabric along here. It's very, very soft and kind of silky and velvety at the same time. Some more of that crocheting. And then these are a bunch of fibers that I separated, and I picked out the kind of brownie ones that went on this page, and then I wove it through some of it all the way around on these three edges. This is a piece of beautiful goldish, darker gold ribbon material. And then my flowers, I'm not sure if that's an antique button. This one could be antique, I'm not sure, but I know these ones aren't. And what else? And this is also a pocket I made. Some nice soft fabric here. Another one of my flowers has these beautiful bead sprays on here. Another one of my homemade flowers. And I think that's it for the brown page. And then we turn here. Oh, there's two pockets here. Oh, and then it has this brown crocheting along this side, and this is part of this tablecloth with the white and the brown on it. This was the lacy edging along the bottom, around the outside. And this one has two pockets. I did trim up. I covered up if there was any frayed edges. I covered them up, sealed them up. And then this is second to last page. And this one just wound up being kind of a beige and white page. And it has some of the antique buttons here. These are shell buttons and they are definitely antique. And then I put on lots of bridal applique on this page over top of these beige laces. This looks like a piece of vintage trim here. And this is your Chinese braid trim. And these pieces of bridal applique are just lightly tacked on so that with a hot glue gun so that they can come off really easily. You can use them if you want to in projects. And then this is last page is the black and white page. So they're backed on the white bridal satin and black appliques and laces. And this is the edge of a black shirt. It has this lace and beads along here with these black buttons, and you can undo the buttons. And there's a pocket on the inside if you want to. This is a very old button, most likely Bakelite. Some flat back pearls, a little bit of lace in the center. And then this is the back page, and it has this beautiful black beading on the black fabric. It's a cottony type of fabric. A couple of butterflies that I thought looked nice here. These are a couple of different types of trim. This one has beads along it, and this one is just sort of an edgy, lacy, not really lacy, but almost an elasticy type of trim. And then some lacy fabric over top of the white bridal fabric. And then the last pocket, again, your bridal satin. And I'm coming apart here for some reasons. I'm just going to tack on a little bit of glue on there. Yes, my glue gun's a mess. I've been very busy. A little bit of a rosebud here. It looks like I need to, I don't know what happened here. I'm going to add a bit of lace along here to cover up this glue. I might have had to do something to hold it. This back part was actually, this red part was an afterthought, so that's probably what happened here, and I still have to, that's probably why this was undone, because I was thinking of adding some more along here. So I'll make sure that I get that done before it's put for sale. And then again, the back part with the ribbons. Oh, and I forgot to add some bling here or it fell off, so I'll have to do that as well. This, I don't think that's an antique button. And I think altogether there's about 20 of my handmade flowers in this book. And then this is some more of that ribbon that I kind of braided just to make it a little bit wider. And just glued it on loosely. This little ribbon flowers here, little teeny flowers I had in my stash. And that is my, and you can see how this part that covers up the side where it ties to is quite wide. And that's because if you filled all these pockets, you can imagine how wide this book is going to be, but I would fill it probably with, you know, like letters, special letters and cards and things that you want to hang on to. And this would be a nice kind of a touchy-feely book to sit through and read through your old letters and cards and your mementos of things that you want to keep stuff in here. And you can sit here and just enjoy the beautiful colors and the beautiful things. Or if you want to take it all apart and utilize it and make it into different things, you can do that as well. And these are the dangles. There's some mother of pearl on here, a few of these. Because it was intended to be a boho book, but That was my mistake because I had all my fabrics separated in different piles. So this is my fabric book with storage, and it will be in my Etsy shop listed shortly. Hope this finds you well. We'll catch you guys all next time. Bye for now.